Right now, as Del Monte closes facilities across the Midwest, it's decided to sell a Cambria corn packing plant.
And a beloved Madison frozen custard chain is closing one location and possibly more after the owner's spouse was denied his U.S. visa.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
First tonight, breaking news in the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Edgewood High School is suing the city of Madison in federal court. A statement from Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway's office says the school is alleging religious discrimination. We do not know the basis for the lawsuit at this time. What we do know is the school was denied the ability to host sports competitions at night because neighbors were upset about bright lights and noise associated with those games. The school asked the city to kill a previously approved master plan for the campus so they would be able to play those games there. The mayor said in a statement, quote, "The city of Madison does not discriminate against any religion. Edgewood High School is free to pursue the repeal of its master plan utilizing normal city processes." She encouraged the school to work with neighbors to resolve the ongoing tensions over the proposal to have a limited number of night games. We are working to get more information on the lawsuit itself, and we'll have more tonight on News 3 Now at 10. To our other top story tonight, a major employer in a small Columbia County village is selling its plant there.
Del Monte closing plants in north central Illinois and south central Minnesota, putting more than 900 employees out of work. But the company has decided to sell its Cambria corn packing plant as an operating facility to a new buyer at the end of the corn packing season. Madeline O'Neill live in Cambria with what it means for current employees and for the village as a whole. Maddie?
Eric and Danica, Cambria has a population of about 770 people. So when you hear about changes at a plant that employs hundreds of seasonal and full-time employees, it sounds like it could be devastating. But this is why the village president says that's not the case.
Community, it's just wonderful. Everybody knows everybody.
When you know everybody, news travels fast.
It's nice to know when things happen, or good or bad, that you've got a community to share it with.
With concerns of the Del Monte plant closing on Village President Glenn Williams' mind.
The last couple of years, we've been concerned that that might happen, and if they were to close and go away, and those jobs go away, that would be a huge hit to this community.
He says today he's happy to share good news.
Finding out that that they're selling to a corporation that wants to keep it up and running is a wonderful, wonderful thing. My father, myself, my brother all worked there to pay for going to college.
Williams doesn't know what company is buying the Del Monte corn packing plant, but he says the buyer will retain current employees and continue similar operations rather than shutting down.
You got trucking companies that work with the factory, that all those people would be out of work, the actual seasonal workers, the full-time workers, the tax base would be affected. It would have been a huge impact, and so we're very happy to hear that the new company is planning on keeping it open.
Del Monte has owned the plant for about 20 years, but it's been around in some capacity for nearly a century.
It's employed many full-time workers over the years, and it's been a wonderful member of our community.
He hopes it will be a member of his small community for years to come. A Del Monte representative says workers will be eligible for severance pay if they so choose. The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development says they haven't received word of a layoff notice from the Cambria plant here, and now Del Monte isn't able to confirm who the buyer is, but we'll keep you updated. Eric and Danica.
All right, Maddie O'Neill live in Cambria tonight. Maddie, thank you. Beautiful weather today, and that will continue. Let's check your first alert forecast with meteorologist Chris Reese. Chris?
Hey, yeah, things were cloudy for a moment earlier today. It may have scared a few folks, but yes, what a beautiful afternoon it was, and I think this is going to just be the beginning of a trend as we go through the rest of this week. Here's visible cloud track. You see where that cloud cover was earlier on and how thick it actually got. But notice things are drying out, especially as you work your way just to the north and west. All those showers stay to our south as well. In fact, northern Illinois actually got in on a couple of thunderstorms. I had a lot of lightning with them. We did stay dry, and we're dry out there right now, 75 degrees. The winds coming out of the north and west at 8 miles per hour. Let's go through the rest of the evening. Staying dry, look for the moon to come out in time, and temperatures falling not just through the 60s, but perhaps through the 50s overnight tonight. We're going to talk about one more rain chance and perhaps another extended stretch of beautiful weather coming up in Maine weather.
Chris, thank you. New at 6, Fitchburg police are asking people with home surveillance systems to help them find the person who is snooping around, checking for unlocked doors and windows. Happened around 2:30 in the morning Tuesday in a neighborhood near McKee Farms Park. There were several reports of burglaries and attempted burglaries, including window screens that have been cut open on Pembroke Drive, Restall Street, and Marledge Street. Multiple home surveillance systems captured a man walking through backyards and approaching front doors.
The doorbell cameras and these surveillance systems are giving us a great deal of insight. A lot of times in the past we may have received reports and able to string together that it's likely the same person that was involved in these incidents throughout a neighborhood over the overnight hours. But now it's really given us an extra look.
Right now, Fitchburg police are using the video to try to identify that suspect. If you notice something suspicious on your surveillance video, Fitchburg police ask that you call their non-emergency line. Madison police are asking for help identifying the person who got into a woman's downtown apartment and stole some of her undergarments. This happened on the 400 block of West Gorham Street. The 22-year-old woman told police she woke up right around 5:20 this morning to find a stranger standing in her bedroom. When she shined her cell phone flashlight at him, he ran off. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Happening now, Madison Common Council members are meeting with owners of Visions nightclub and their lawyer. The club may soon lose its liquor license more than 8 months after a shooting and stabbing that happened right outside the building. This is at the direction of the city attorney's office, which filed a motion earlier this week for the Alcohol License Review Commission to revoke the liquor license and the 21 and older entertainment license. The city attorney's office said the nightclub is decreasing quality of life for neighbors and is not following ordinances. Vision's lawyer said they plan on fighting the accusations vigorously, and we will have more tonight on News 3 Now at 10. A Milwaukee business owner has some difficult decisions to make after a suspected drunk driver crashed into his nail salon early this morning. Owner Brian Ho had to close the salon last September due to structural issues. He had fixed those issues and planned to reopen soon until he got the bad news that someone crashed into that business early this morning. Now, the building also houses 3 apartments, but none of the residents were injured. The driver had minor injuries and was arrested. Now, Ho has to decide if he's able to demolish the building and rebuild it. A Madison staple of almost 33 years, Michael's Frozen Custard will close its original location in less than 3 weeks. Rose Schmidt explains the owner's decision.
Madison will soon say goodbye to a longtime sweet spot on Monroe Street, and the fate of the other locations is uncertain at this time as the owners figure out their next steps.
A Madison law firm is announcing that the first Michael's Frozen Custard shop will close on September 9th because of a U.S. immigration policy. In 2015, the shop's owner, Michael Dix, married Sergio de la O Hernandez, who was an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. Dix sponsored Hernandez for a U.S. visa so he could become a U.S. citizen. Hernandez went to Mexico a year ago for his visa interview and was told he couldn't return. His attorney says there was a piece missing to his application, a waiver that he needed because he had been in the country illegally for so long. The waiver is now being denied.
I think it's just really a heartbreaking situation. I mean, Michael started this business 33 years ago using his grandma's custard recipe. It's grown. The community loves it. To think that we would lose this and all the jobs it provides.
The decision can be appealed, but a denial would mean that Dix will likely close the other Michael's locations and move abroad to be with his spouse.
The law firm will be filing an appeal over the next couple of weeks, which could take 6 to 8 months. Rose Schmidt, News 3 Now.
We reached out to the U.S. Department of State to find out why Hernandez's visa was denied, but they say they cannot comment on specific cases for confidentiality reasons. After 2 years on East Wilson Street, the Nomad World Pub is moving to a new location. The Nomad took the place of Cardinal Bar. It's known for Latin Heat Saturdays and hosting soccer watch parties. According to a Facebook post, Nomad is moving to West Gorham Street in September, the former Brick House Barbecue restaurant building. Seatbelt use across Wisconsin has reached a life-saving milestone. That is according to Governor Tony Evers, who spoke about that during the 45th Annual Governor's Conference on Highway Safety in the Dells today. Evers says we're at 90% overall seatbelt use. This year is the 10th anniversary of the law that allows police to stop and ticket a driver for not wearing their seatbelt.
When that took effect in June of 2009, the state seatbelt use rate was around 74%. The next step, the governor says, is cracking down on distracted and impaired driving.
The governor's pick to head the Wisconsin Department of Health Services has won approval from a Republican-controlled legislative committee. The Senate Health Committee voted 4-1 to approve Andrea Palm as the Secretary of the Health Department. Palm is a former Obama administration official who worked on implementing the federal health care law. Her nomination now goes to the full Senate, which is expected to vote in October. Today, the Senate Health Committee also heard arguments for and against a new bill that would license dental therapists. There are more than 50 groups who support the measure. According to one of the authors, therapists would engage in limited practices like fillings and sealants and be required to always work under a dentist's general supervision. That position, compared to a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, it's meant to increase access and also lower costs without compromising standards of care.
With dental therapists as part of the team, dentists are able to delegate more routine procedures to their dental hygienists and to their therapists, freeing time to do more costly and complex procedures. This would lower a practice's labor costs, allowing them to serve Medicaid patients more cost effectively.
It doesn't reduce cost, it doesn't get more people care, and it is simply unnecessary to create an entirely new workforce from the ground up when we know that investing in your existing workforce will efficiently solve the problem.
The Wisconsin Dental Association and Marquette University's dental school are opposed to the measure. Lobbyists say it doesn't have the same educational requirements as other states with licensed dental therapists and does not require therapists to work in underserved areas.
Next at 6, a somewhat controversial statue has been removed from outside Camp Randall Stadium. We will have more on the Nails Tales legacy and the new plaza going in.
And more local news ahead. A person says they're now out of a job after the Catholic school they were contracted with found out they supported the LGBTQ community. That story tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. We're about 2.5 weeks out from the first Badger home game of the season at Camp Randall.
But as Josh Sprider reports, fans will notice something missing when they show up to jump around this year.
A piece of UW history came to the ground Wednesday.
Well, it's been here since I was a freshman at Madison, so it's kind of weird to see it go.
UW-Madison junior Johanna Ellefson said it was quite the scene as crews took down Nails Tales, which has been on display at the corner of Regent and Breeze Terrace since 2005. The 50-foot-tall sculpture represents a pile of footballs, but reaction to it has been mixed over the years.
It's not the prettiest statue, but it'll be weird to not have anything on that block.
So why did Nails Tales have to come down? Well, we're now getting our first look at the new plans for the plaza outside the field house, and they do not include the sculpture.
It'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that space or if they're just going to leave it open.
The redevelopment project has a budget of close to $2 million and should be finished in time for next football season. As for Nails Tales, that will end up in storage about 15 miles from campus until they can figure out what to do with it.
Kind of like something that I thought that they were talking about but would never actually happen.
In Madison, Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
And we reached out to the artist for his thoughts. He says the university has been respectful through the process and says we may be surprised where Nails Tales ends up. Contractors will work through the rest of the month to take down the sculpture's foundation before the Badgers' first home game on September 7th.
Next at 6, a beautiful night and a break from some rain chances.
And we should have clear skies, highs in the mid-70s for the rest of the week. Chris Reese will have your First Alert forecast next.
The Milwaukee County Zoo is introducing a new friend today. They shared this video of Stitch on Facebook. He is a North American porcupine that will be on rotation at the Animal Encounter building. Fun fact from the zoo, porcupines are born with quills, and by the time they are adult, they have about 30,000 of them.
What an interesting looking
I know.
guest there at the
He
zoo.
looks a little soft, but I doubt that's the case.
Don't mess with him. All right, Chris Reese joining us with a look at a forecast. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it really does. It was a great day once the clouds managed to clear on out. Temperatures made it all the way up towards 79 degrees for your official high. Today, 82 as you worked your way to Janesville, Kenosha, 84, Milwaukee. Made it to 85, but the fall-like temperatures are certainly going to be something that continues to take over as we go through just a little bit of time. 79, oddly enough, is where we should be for a high this time of the year, typically starting out right around 59, but we started out at 66 this morning. Eventually, I think our temperatures are actually going to go slightly below average as we go through the next couple of days. 75, that temperature outside right now. Winds still coming out of the north and west at 8 miles per hour, folks. But we had that cloud cover at one point. Here's how things played out for us. A lot of that cloud cover was focused from about Madison and then points towards the south. This is as some showers and thunderstorms kind of blew up over parts of Iowa and northern Illinois. Those have since fallen apart. We have drier air moving into the state now. This is as a cold front continues to slide towards the south and east. This is allowing high pressure out of Canada to settle in. And folks, that's exactly what it's going to do in the meantime, bringing in some of that drier air as well. Check out the dew points. They are nearly tropical as you work your way towards St. Louis and points south. But just towards the north, the high plains, dew points are into the 40s. That is that dry fall-like air, and folks, that is what is going to be on the way as that high pressure continues to move over towards the south and east. This does mean more sunshine for us, and eventually a little dry lake breeze comes on into town as well. We'll watch that, but I do think for the most part things are going to feature a lot of sunshine for us. Let's go and see things clear out as we move into the afternoon. Look for those lows falling towards 56 degrees overnight tonight, and then we'll warm up tomorrow, but only into the mid-70s with, again, plenty of sunshine around. Tomorrow night, we do it all over again. The sun sets, those temperatures continue to drop. We're talking overnight lows into the low 50s. I wouldn't be surprised to see some upper 40s showing up. Then by lunchtime into your Friday, a lot of folks still struggling to get out of the 60s at that point. This cooler weather is brought to us by a little dip in the jet stream. That's going to settle in some cooler air over parts of the Great Lakes. We'll moderate those temperatures just a little bit towards the weekend and the start of next week. But then watch what happens again. There's a secondary push for some cooler air, and that will settle in over parts of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest as well. So I don't think we'll just see one, but perhaps more than one shot of these very comfortable temperatures we've been dealing with. But tonight, partly cloudy skies. Look for lows falling right towards 56 degrees. We'll see a light wind coming out of the north, then we'll warm up towards 75 tomorrow. Again, plenty of sunshine to go along with that. Lower humidity. Things are going to be absolutely pleasant. And then here is the rest of that forecast, folks, talking sunshine all the way through Sunday with a little rain chance Monday into Tuesday. Notice the temperatures are a bit warmer. Then a cold front comes through that will dry us out for the end of next week as well.
Oh, it's been a minute, but Wisconsin receiver Quintez Cephas is back on the Camp Randall field wearing the number 87. Reaction to his return next. Now that Quintez Cephas is back with the Wisconsin football team, it's time to see what he can do and how fast he can get back up to speed on how he can do it. Back in the number 87 for the first time in more than a year, Cephas practiced for the first time today. Now, it wasn't a particularly long or game speed workout. Head coach Paul Christ isn't thinking about what a best case scenario would be, but he knows he has an impact player back on the field.
He's a really talented receiver. He's really good in the run game. There's an energy that he brings. You know, you talk to any of our old linemen, you know, that love playing with him. You know, I think there's another component that he adds, and yet, you know, he still hasn't played for a while now, and he's got to get back into it. But you know, I think you set the, you know, I know he has, and I think we all have a high bar for him.
Running back Garrett Groshek said there was a lot of screaming and loud noises when Cephas came back to the locker room, but he's been working out on his own for the past year and he's stayed in shape. But playing against opponents and getting game ready is a different animal. Cephas' teammates are just happy he's back.
We really just wanted to see Q's smiling face again, you know, flying around doing what he loves. And, you know, that's kind of what gets us. It's not really him on the field, but him doing what he loves, him doing what he wants to do.
You know, it's like a cousin or a relative that you haven't seen in so long. That you used to hang out with every day, you know, coming back. You know, we welcomed him with open arms. You know, it was a lot of energy, you know, to just have him back in the locker room. So it was great.
Tomorrow night, the Packers play the Raiders in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's about 100 miles north of Grand Forks, North Dakota, if you're Google mapping that. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers might play. He has back stiffness. Head coach Matt LaFleur said it wouldn't make or break them if Rodgers didn't play a preseason game. Rodgers says he's fine with the offense, and he's fine with Canada. Played Little League Baseball north of the border, and he's happy to make the trip back.
Been to Montreal, been to other various parts of BC, never been to Winnipeg, but I'm sure there's some Packer fans up there. I'm excited to get up there and see the folks up there. I've been a fan of the CFL for a while, so you know, I know how much those cities that have a team, how much it means to them, and it's going to be exciting to get up there and play.
The high school football season begins this week, and we kick off the 12th season of the Prep Mania Game of the Week Friday night. It's a good one. I'll take the over. Monona Grove visits Wanakee. Jay Wilson, Bill Brophy, Alan Minert bring you the game live on channel3000.com again Friday night at 7 o'clock. U.S. soccer star Carly Lloyd went to Philadelphia Eagles camp yesterday looking for a job. I mean, she could. She hit field goals from 40 yards consistently, and then the 37-year-old New Jersey native hit a 55-yarder at practice. She's a big Eagles fan. Who knows? I mean, you never, ever say never if you watch the Bears playoff game last year. It makes it look so easy, too. Like, it's a different way to kick a football. Right. It's not, you know, around. She's like, whatever, home 40-yard field goals.
It's a ball.
She gets her steps down, though. She could do it. She's a little far back on that.
Yeah, and everyone was like surprised, not shocked. And they're like, oh.
She's got a powerful leg.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
She might get a call
We'll
soon.
see. Yeah.
From
Jersey
one of the
sales.
teams, yep.
Yeah.
Chris, final check.
Yeah, we're going to see more sunshine as we go through the rest of this week. Look for sunshine and temperatures into the 70s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is the perfect weekend to get outdoors if you have a chance to do so. We'll see a chance of rain Monday into Tuesday with temperatures in the 80s. That's the warm-up ahead of another cool down by next Saturday. Sunshine and perhaps temperatures struggling out of the 60s.
All right. Get a little fall like then. We'll enjoy it between now and then. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back here at 10.